Hello everyone and welcome back to your own channel Drishti IAS English. My name is Pragya and in today's interesting episode of Polity Primer, we are going to study about a topic that forms the foundational stone of our Indian Constitution, that forms the very basic structure of our Indian Constitution. The title of our today's discussion is Cooperative Federalism. In this discussion, we'll firstly delve upon the concept of federalism. Then we are also going to understand the concept of cooperative federalism. Then we are also going to see the competitive federalism. We are also going to analyze the constitutional provisions regarding it, and lastly we'll see a practice question for your prelims examination and a practice question for your mains examination. So if I talk about the background of our today's topic, when India held the G20 presidency, a remark was made by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi that yes, we follow the concept of federalism, and that is why we are holding this G20 meeting in 28 states as well as the union territories. So, contrary to the popular belief, he said that yes, India definitely follows a very federal structure. So, this brings us to the important point of our today's discussion, that what exactly is the concept of federalism. Okay, so federalism has been defined as a reaction to a society's political, social and economic circumstances. If you talk about this word federalism, it is a system of governance in which powers are generally divided between the central government and the state government. So basically, it talks about division of powers between two constituent units, namely the central government and the state government. So it is a strategy for allocating authority between national and local governments within a sphere so that they can cooperate while maintaining their own independence. And this word federalism has been derived from the Latin word fides, which means agreement between the central government and the state government to exercise their authority within a sphere and to coexist with each other peacefully. Moving forward, there are two types of federalism as we all know. So, first is the holding together federalism. So, what exactly is this holding together federalism? For example, this is a unit, okay, and there are constituent units. So these constituent units are bound by a national unit, okay. So these constituent units are held together by this one integrated national units, and the example of holding together federalism is India, Spain and Belgium. So what happens in the holding together federalism? The powers are definitely divided between these constituent units and the main unit, okay. Now let us understand what is coming together federalism. So in coming together federalism, what happens is, these are the constituent units, okay, and they come together to form one integrated unit. So this is known as coming together federalism. Example includes USA, Australia, etc. So in coming together federalism, the constituent units, also known as the states or the provinces, have definitely a more autonomy than the holding together federalism. In holding together federalism, they are not allowed to secede from the national unit. But this is not the case with the coming together federalism. In coming together federalism, they are coming voluntarily to create one integrated unit, that is known as the national unit, okay. So if you talk about India, India has opted for a quasi-federal structure after independence. What do we understand by this quasi-federal structure? That means it has a bias or a tilt towards central authority. So let me know in the comment box below who has opined that India has a quasi-federal structure. Moving forward, let us understand the concept of this cooperative federalism. Okay, so cooperative federalism is the cooperation of the federal or the central government and state governments for the nation's overall growth. Okay, so in a cooperative federal system, the states and the central or the federal government work together horizontally to the public's advantage. So the main aim of this cooperative federalism is to coexist with each other peacefully, to work for the overall development of the nation and to work for the public's advantage. Okay, and it requires that all states take part in the creation and execution of the nation's national policy, and that is why it is known as cooperative federalism, because the state governments and the central government, if you talk about India, they work together in synchronization. They work together in cooperation with each other, and hence the word cooperative federalism. Moving forward, it is an essential tool that allows the state to participate in the formulation and implementation of policies that serve the national interest. So, any kind of national policy is being implemented by the states as well. Then, cooperative federalism is a core component of the Indian Constitution. It is also a basic feature of our Indian Constitution, a basic structure of our Indian Constitution. And federalism as the basic structure has been held by the Supreme Court in S.R. Bommai case. S.R. Bommai case. So, federalism is the basic structure of our Indian Constitution, has been held by our Honorable Supreme Court in the case of S.R. Bommai. Okay. And in accordance with the Constitution, the Union and the states must work jointly to address the issues listed in the Schedule 7. Okay, Schedule 7 talks about 3 lists, as we all know, the Union list, the state list and the concurrent list. Moving forward, let us analyze some of the challenges that the present cooperative federalism in India is facing. So, the first challenge is, despite the Constitution's guarantee of a division of power between the central government and the states, the central government has more legislative authority because of the residuary and legislative precedence. So, who has the residuary authority of law-making power? The Parliament has it in India. Okay, let me know in the comment box below which article states so. And the Constitution grants the Union additional power. It has consistently undermined the state's legislative power. In fact, if you will see that the Union list in Schedule 7 schedule is expanding, okay, and the state list is somewhat shrinking. So, this is also a contentious issue that has been argued by the critics, that yes, the Union government is using its power to undermine the state's legislative authority, and ultimately they have the residuary power that is given to them by the Constitution itself. Okay, when the central government uses these powers, it can lead to mistrust and even a lack of trust between the central government and the state government. Moving forward, the central government and the states often differ on taxation power, because it is a very important power through which the revenue is generated, and there is often confusion about the taxation power of the state government and taxation power of the central government. Okay, because of constitutional provisions, the center has prevailed in the majority of tax disputes between the states and the center. Although the states have the opportunity to vote in the GST Council to express their views on tax related issue, but there is a catch. For example, the Finance Commission, okay, decides the revenue sharing between central government and state government. Okay, so it is the Finance Commission who has the authority to decide the revenue sharing between the central government and state government, and that is why you will see there is a dichotomy of powers between the GST Council and the Finance Commission, and all of this is by virtue of our Indian Constitution. For example, Article 270 Clause 1A and Article 270 Clause 2, and that is why central government has the preference over tax dispute, has a preference over revenue sharing power, because ultimately this revenue sharing power is not decided by the GST Council, it is decided by the Finance Commission and the Parliament, and the central government and the state governments often differ with each other on tax related issues. Okay, so these were some of the challenges of the cooperative federalism. Now let us discuss one another unique concept known as the competitive federalism. So this strategy gained popularity during the 1990s economic shift. So what happened in the 1990s? The LPG policy, liberalization, privatization and globalization policy. Before this, India was a closed economy, and after the LPG policy, India threw open its economy for the investment of foreign investors as well. Okay, so there was more competition for scarce resources among the states once India opened its door to globalization, and as a result there is currently an imbalance and injustice among the states. You will see that the states are fighting with each other, they are competing with each other in a negative sense, and you will analyze this, and this has been said by various critics, various scholars as well, that yes, most of these states are competing with each other negatively with the resources. Okay, and this is happening even today also. Most of these states are trying to attract FDIs to their own state. Okay, competitive federalism has lately been shown to be a successful strategy for accelerating the economic growth of a particular state. Okay, so this is currently happening. So competitive federalism is a vertical power sharing. Example of vertical power sharing. We have seen that cooperative federalism is a horizontal power sharing. On the other hand, competitive federalism is a very dynamic concept. It states that yes, the center and the states must compete with each other in a very positive manner so as to fulfill the nation's interest. But right now, currently, it is happening in a very negative and aggressive manner. All of these states want that yes, if the FDIs will come to our state, definitely they are going to bring more employment and more jobs to our state, and that is why this competitive federalism as of now is happening in a negative way. And I'm not saying so, this is being said by various researchers and various scholars and various critiques of this federalism policy in India. So it follows a vertical power sharing, and it also follows a bottom down approach. Although competitive federalism should be a very healthy competition, that yes, you are attracting the foreign investors, you are attracting them to own state, but currently we can also see that some states are more developed than their counterparts. Okay, so this competitive federalism happened after the LPG policy in the 1990s. Now let us see the constitution provisions which encourage federalism, especially cooperative federalism, because competitive federalism has not been mentioned explicitly in our Indian Constitution. Okay, so Article 1 of the Indian Constitution states that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states, and this itself shows that yes, it encourages a cooperative federalism. It encourages a holding together form of federalism. Then while the Constitution doesn't mention the term federal, it does provide for a governance structure primarily federal in nature, but it has a tilt towards unitary bias or unitary authority or a central authority, and that is visible under Article 246 and Schedule 7 schedule of our Indian Constitution. The distribution of legislative powers has been divided into 3 lists, as I have mentioned, the union list, the state list and the concurrent list, and that is why it is opined that yes, India follows a quasi-federal structure. It does not follow a complete federal structure. So these were the constitutional provisions which talks about the federal structure of our Indian government. So with this we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. See, cooperative federalism is also required and competitive federalism is also required in today's time, and both should go hand in hand. So competitive federalism should also be encouraged, because yes, at the end of the day, your goal is to promote the national interest. Your goal is to ensure overall development of India. So yes, competitive federalism definitely should be there. In fact, the states should have more say in the revenue sharing policy of the government. Okay, and India needs a cooperation between competitive federalism and cooperative federalism to move ahead in its development path. So yes, the cooperative federalism exists to counterbalance the competitive federalism, but yes, competitive federalism should also happen in a very positive state. In fact, the central government should take very positive steps. As of now, it is already taking that. Yes, it is focusing on the various schemes to promote the states. Okay, so the central government should come forward and encourage this competitive federalism, and cooperative federalism is already there in our Indian Constitution to counterbalance this competitive federalism. But yes, if India wants to achieve its dream of becoming a 5 trillion economy, then yes, you need to encourage competitive federalism and you need to encourage the say of these states in various national policies as well. Okay, so you can conclude very holistically. Now let us see a practice question for your prelims examination. So the question is, which one of the following is not a feature of our Indian federalism? And this is a PYQ that has been asked in the year 2017. Your option A is there is an independent judiciary in India. Your option B is powers have been clearly divided between the central government and the state government. Your option C is the federating units have been given unequal representation in the Rajya Sabha. Your statement D is it is the result of an agreement among the federating units. So kindly drop your answers in the comment box below. Now let us analyze a practice question for your mains examination. So the question is, analyze the challenges and opportunities in achieving federalism and its implication for intergovernmental relations. So firstly, you will write what is federalism. You will mention the two types, holding together federalism and coming together federalism. You will write that yes, cooperative federalism has been mentioned in our Indian Constitution. India's Constitution follows a quasi-federal structure in which it has a tilt or the bias towards central government. Okay, and then you will write that yes, due to this we are able to act more diligently in emergency situations because we have concentration of power in one hand, and that is why we are able to take fruitful decisions. And then you will write that yes, there is a need to encourage positive competitive federalism. Okay, and the states should be encouraged to develop themselves, and definitely the central government should also pay attention to the lesser developed states and encourage them to develop as per their counterparts. Okay, so you can write that yes, there is a need to encourage competitive federalism, and we already have the cooperative federalism to counterbalance the competitive federalism. Okay, so you will write that in the end that India needs a combination of the both cooperative and competitive federalism if it wants to achieve its dream of becoming a 5 trillion economy. Okay, so you can conclude very holistically that yes, states should be given more say in the policy making. They should have the more say in the GST Council. In fact, the dichotomy between the Finance Commission and the GST Council should also be removed. You can conclude very holistically. I hope this session was insightful for you. If you have any feedback regarding this session, kindly drop it in the comment box below. If you liked today's discussion and found it to be helpful, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such updates. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.